R. Kelly. Usually I don't do this, but hit y'all with a little bit of the remix. Alright, so basically as it stands, I'm at work. I'm always at work. When do I not be at work? Out here trying to grind hard while it's young. Still got these good knees. I can move around, get this money. What's going on? I already see boss lady there. I just look over there to the cut and I already seen her jump in the middle. Appreciate. But just gonna be quick, ain't gonna be too long. The road to wealth. It's paved with bills and broken dreams and everything else. Shout out to everybody coming in. Country Hustle, I see you pull up. Just a little glance. But like I say, the road to wealth is paved with bills, broken dreams, and everything else. You know how many people went to college? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get a mic check. 1, 2, 3. Like I say, I'm always working. Mic check. But so many people go to college, man, and try to do something for themselves. I know this little shaking gonna get on y'all nerves too. That's why I'm really doing the lives with the camera, because of the shaking. And I try to get me a good stable, but then the road not stable, so it's still shaking. It's big in the building. But so many people went to college, all this stuff, spend all this money in debt, working to pay this debt back from college. You got so many people that pursued careers and ultimately had to change for different careers and different paths because people either not even hiring in that field no more, or just in general, it's hard to find a job in that field nowadays. Ultimately, man, everybody wants to be rich. Everybody wants to have peace with their life. For those that want to get married, marriage is not for everybody. But for the ones that want to get married, you want to have the American dream, what they say, wife, house with the picket fence, 2.5 kids, or 1.5, or 1.5. I guess that's 2 kids and a baby, But, the thing of it is, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's your preference. If you want to have your single life, hey man, be single, be happy. You got your home, you got your car. That's your life, Doc in the building, always a pleasure to see you. Stop up in there, man. I think I'm gonna have to run with your intro. Hit that like, sub, go ahead and share out. I have to hit that. That's pretty cool. If you start at the beginning, you can keep saying it throughout the middle, but if you start at the beginning, people already know. As soon as I jump in your chat, even if I see your replays, that's the first thing I do. Like it, comment, we here, and then share out the video. Because like you always say, it's good information. People want to hear that good information. But, when it come down to it, a lot of people, man, they just want to be heard, man. They just want to live their life the way they want to live it. Like I say, whether married, whether single, whether divorced, any life you living right now, you just want to be comfortable. You don't want to have no stress. I always tell my wife, I was like, at the end of the day, my peace is more important than anything. I want to be peaceful. I don't want to come home, have to argue with you. I don't want you to come home and have to argue with me. At the end of the day, it should be peaceful. I don't want to have to deal with the kids being all irrational. I tell my kids all the time, you do good, good's gonna come up. You do bad, hey, you gotta get whatever comes with it. And a lot of people just, the road to riches, it's paved with, turmoil and heartbreak. I've heard about so many billionaires lose their wealth and gain it back. I've seen so many stories about people. Jake me up in the building, Jake me in the building. But I heard so many stories about a lot of people that became billionaires lost their money and got it again. You know, ultimately on that second go round, they knew how to spend the money. You know, that's the same thing I was telling my wife with the kids. When I do the trust, I'm gonna make it to where my kids have the trust where they can get it in 3 steps. You know, maybe at 18, another one at another funding at, and the last funding maybe at 25. Because, you know, I remember the first time I had $20,000 in my hand. I blew through that money so quick. The second time I came back, and I was, you know, a little slow about spending it, you know, because I spent all that money. And, you know, my biggest thing is if I spend the money, I gotta have something to show for it. So, you know, I bought me a truck, paid a couple of bills, you know, and I knew where the money went. Compared to just getting that money, buying some clothes, and next thing you know, the money's gone. Like, man, even like when I quit my other job, I had a 401k plan, paid a couple of bills, did some things, and I was just, you know, wilding out, taking trips, buying things. And I was like, let me buy something to, you know, say I spent the money on something versus me just saying, man, I spent all this money and at the end of the day, I got nothing. You know, a lot of times we have these situations where we have so much money, but just don't know what to do with it. You know, like I said, things understood that, you know, you got to pay your bills. You got to have this done. You got to have that done to, you know, work through. I've been looking at this channel. I will teach you my, not even sure when I jump off of here so you can go over there and look at it. But, you know, a lot of that with his channel is teaching you to live your rich life. Like, my whole thing was I was talking to my friend and we were having a conversation about me going to Jamaica next month, and it was a last minute thing. You know, I just went to Savannah and I'm like, man, hey, sorry about truck. Going down there, that's about 800 easy when I went to Savannah. But what you do when you have kids, you're gonna spend money. Then turn around going to Jamaica, and this last minute because, you know, my wife's grandmother's going, and you know, I love that old lady dearly, just like my granny. I was talking to her about my granny being around the same age as her when she passed. My granny was like 94 years old when she passed. And with my wife's grandmother being so old as well, you know, me and her talk a lot. You know, I just love old people. Like, I would get mad, you know, back in the day, kids, old people. Like, I would get mad, you know, back in the day, kids would get mad about somebody saying something about their mama. And get mad about somebody saying something about their mama. And, you know, the biggest thing was, you said something about my grandma, my mama, I'll be mad. But you say something about my great grandma, and I'm liable to tear your head off. You know, that old lady could cook so good. And man, she just took so much care of me when I was young, because I stayed with her over the summers and just going into the countryside out there picking pecans to make my pie. She'll make a pie for me. Going out there helping her in the gardening and stuff. Like, I always had a little green thumb. So, you know, that was the thing. Queen in the building. I see somebody else just popped in, and I see they don't have a wrench, so I'm gonna have to, you know, handle that. I might even have to pull over for that, because, you know, everybody gotta be connected with each other. So I try to make sure it's easy access for people to, you know, go check out each other's channel. And the best way to do that is for everybody have a wrench. Then there's nobody really to the point where they can be, you know, in trouble or anything. And even a situation, I gotta actually go back and take somebody and put them back on my channel because somebody kicked them off my channel. But, you know, needless to say, I gotta make sure make that happen. But overall, like I say, man, it's just to a point, paying all these bills, doing all these things. Like, in his videos talking about living your rich life, And I was telling my friend about this, about us going to Jamaica. I was like, man, Sammy Joe in the building. What's going on? Roots. All right, man. I just subbed to your channel the other day. What's going on with you? All right. Roots and Essential Oils. I got you. I just subbed to your channel the other day. Seen you came over to my channel. So, okay, I got you. You monitor. All right, cool. All right, let's see if I missed anybody. The building table. What's going on, brother? What's going on with you? Yeah, boss say got everybody. We got everybody. All right, so, you know, like I said, everybody got a rinse, so you can go check each other's channels out. Make sure, you know, you cool with everybody, man. You know, like I said, I deal with a lot of channels that give good information, and it don't hurt to just go over there and check out each other's channel. You might learn some things, you know. But, you know, back to what I was saying, you know, getting into it, a lot of times, man, people living a rich life, like with me, taking vacations. That's like one of my biggest things. I always tell my wife, you got to be working for something. You know, what's the use of going to work to pay all these bills? Why not enjoy our money? You know, why not go out and enjoy your money? Go take trips, go out to eat. My wife is a foodie, and I say my wife is a foodie because she loves the food, man. Like, we have conversations, laugh, joke all the time about eating out, going to nice restaurants. We just went to an Italian restaurant for my son's birthday Sunday. He picked it out pretty good, gave healthy portions, well seasoned. The eggplant that they had was like a Parmesan eggplant. It was real nice. It was nicely seasoned and everything. Not too much season on that. Not a lot of salt. Really, not that much salt at all, which I pretty much like. And just overall, man, a great, you know. But going into it, just, you know, enjoying life. I always talk about paying myself first. You know, I pay myself first. Give myself a little small, you know, anywhere from 10 to 50 bucks a week. But more or less, I'm not gonna say how much I really pay myself on here because my wife be listening. I don't want her to know that, you know, I got a nest egg somewhere she don't know about. Nah, I'm just playing. But at the same time, though, you know, I pay myself pretty good, you know. And when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, hey, you should. You know, what's the use of working and making all this money, but you can't afford something that you really like or you really want to do because you're caught up in backing bills because you overspend. You know, that was one of the things when me and my wife got our home. I kept telling her, I was like, you know, we don't want to overspend. We don't want to be house poor. You know, I don't want to have a house and barely can afford it every month. You know, I don't want to be to the point where I'm one paycheck from getting kicked out of the house. You know, and that's the thing. Like, a lot of people go through that. You know, like I say about this guy, you always talk about living a rich life. I truly want to live a rich life. What's going on with this? Both of them cakes. Alright. What's going on with you? But, you know, truly, man, just paying your bills, all that is cool. That's why I keep talking about the money aspect. I know it's not going to be something that's going to grow my channel a lot because everybody want to have fun. But it comes to the point keeping pace about life. You get older, you don't want to offer it now. You know, take advantage of an IRA if you don't have one at your job. Get older, do the inflation now. You're gonna need more of that when you retire. I remember back in the 60s and 70s, people were telling me they was putting $25 a week rate when you put it in something and it's moving. Now it's too late. You know, one of the older guys I was just talking to the other day saying she, you know, I used to work with, you know, we be joking around and stuff. And he's like, son, He's like, I'm gonna tell you now, man, make sure you save some money for when you get old. He said, man, this money that they give me, he said, it's enough to get by, but it's not enough to live off of. He said, because everything's so inflated. The groceries don't went up. You know, I got a car note. He said, man, I was damn near paying off my other car, and then I think he said the transmission went out. It was cheaper for him to just go ahead and get another car note and keep paying the car note versus trying to fix the transmission, pay that, and pay for the car note. So he's like, it's cheaper. No problem, no problem. And when it comes down to it, over here, it's a bad little area over here. Okay. But, you know, hey, like, he telling me, man, save for the future. Put some money to the side. A lot of people talk about passive income, and, you know, everybody's talking about generational wealth. What is really generational wealth? Make at least 3 generations, that's good. But typically, that's when you have the issue with 3 generations. It's literally 3 generations, the wealth is all going to be. The Rockefellers still have money. The Kennedys still have money. They took the game plan and ran with it. The Vanderbilts were the richest family in history, as far as family-wise. The richest person in the world was Mansa Musa. Even to this day, nobody has accumulated his wealth. In our time that we calculated, nobody still has ever accumulated his wealth. Nobody. This man went across the world, even with Bill Gates, Elon, all of them having their money. There's nothing compared to this guy. You know, this is when the weight of gold was weighing heavy with the riches. This man possessed all that. People over there taking their land back from these other countries. I think it should have been this way long time ago. But you don't hear about this on the news. You don't hear about all these other countries and stand with Africa and stand with and what's that going on in Israel and like all that stuff. We hear very little about what's really going on in other countries because it's controlled by the media. The media only wants us to know what they want us to know. Nobody's not doing the research. You're not looking at other outlets getting this information. The whole thing, tell a vision. It's telling you what the vision is. Television. Media outlets are bought by companies and all that. They telling people like it, the whole thing of you learning money. Don't you know that's why they took this stuff out the schools? They took the banking out of the schools. They make more money off of overdraft for people. So why teach it in school? These kids are overdrafting like left and right. I know my cousin, I got 7 overdrafts one time. They played me good. I got 7 overdrafts. And when I said I was gonna close the account out, they said, oh, we're sorry, so we'll take 2 of them back. I said, if you ain't taking all of them back, I'm closing the account out. And that was with Wells Fargo. I will never go to Wells Fargo. I found out the bank I have, PNC, they the same. They just as crooked. You know, it's like, how can you live your rich life when you got people that's holding your money, holding you back? Like, do your research, deal with credit union. I got a credit union now. I never have an issue with my credit union. Never have an issue with my credit union. Only reason I still have my other bank, because they're more global. With PNC, they're more nationwide, just like Wells Fargo. And that will be just more or less to transfer money if need be over into my other account. Other than that, I don't even want a big bank no more. Because these big banks, like, they not helping you gain. They definitely not incentivizing helping you with getting loans to buy your house, which creates generational wealth. Because house increase. They don't, you know, ETFs and stocks, they increase. Buy a Nike stock today, tomorrow goes down, 2 weeks it go up, next week it go down. ETF is a steady incline. It goes down a little bit, but it's a steady incline over the years. Look into that. That creates more wealth than anything. ETFs. A 10-year, I think you get a 5 to 7% increase within a 10-year span. That's good. You know, look at payday loans. These people are rip-offs. Lisa J. Stock, what's going on with you? You know, these are the things that we're not talking about, you know, because we laugh and joke and being entertained. What celebrity this? You know, we talking about P. Diddy, all this stuff. Y'all know P. Diddy got a lawsuit for $2 billion against the company. Why nobody's not talking about that? They talking about the foolishness. Everybody already knew about P. Diddy doing this stuff. Everybody already knew about Puffy. They heard allegations all these years. Before Epstein, I didn't even know nothing about Epstein. I knew Epstein had money. I knew Epstein had that private island. I didn't know all this stuff was going on about Epstein. Same thing with Harvey Weinstein. Never knew. I knew about the industry of how they did in the in actors and movies and stuff. I knew it was some play around there, how they was, you know, messing around, but I didn't know it was that crazy. A lot of the stuff you never really know because people keep this stuff real quiet. But the only thing is, it's like that them Diddy parties, they got wild for a reason. You know, all that stuff was by design. And a lot of times, hey, anything that's by design, it has its flaws about how to handle things too. And a lot of times, man, at the end of the day, we just want to be entertained. We're not looking at the big picture of the big money, because you'll be more heavily invested in trying to find out stuff to get money. You know, like I say, how many people get so much in overdrafts because you sugar, what's going on with you? A lot of people get so much in overdrafts because they're not paying attention to their account. How many people were back in the day when you had that ledger in the back of your checkbook where you had to balance out your account? I remember my wife used to do that all the time. I thought it was so foolish. I told my wife, I was like, man, nobody really do that no more. Everybody just use their bank account and, you know, they good. And she was like, well, this is how I was taught, and this is how I don't overdraft my account. Talking her out of that, that was the best thing she did. Anytime she spent some money, she subtracted in her book. I was like, it's easy math. You know, I told her I deal in cash so I don't get overdrafts. Every time I deal in cash. Only time I don't deal in cash is when I pay my bills online. That's why I don't like getting automatic withdrawals. I like paying them myself. Everything is trying to go to automatic withdrawals to get you an overdraft. I mean, have y'all noticed that? Everybody's trying to do automatic withdrawals. All your regular bills. Comcast is always telling me you'll get a 5% savings or this savings if you do automatic withdrawal. Insurance is trying to do automatic withdrawals. Every bill wants an automatic withdrawal. And them banks love that automatic withdrawal. But they know if you tight with your budget, oh, they can hit you anytime. I can tell you right now, honestly speaking, I sit there and had my life insurance. You know, I got a lot of life insurance. Why my life insurance always coming out like, when I first got 2 policies, one came out at the end of the month, one came out at the beginning of the month. Now all of a sudden, they're kind of running into each other. I literally got one coming out at the beginning and one coming out in the middle. Then it turned around, they start coming out at the damn near the same week. I was like, hold on. You was coming out at the beginning of the month, you was coming out at the end of the month, then you got pushed to the middle of the month, and the other one still remained at the beginning of the month. Now, the one who's at the beginning of the month and almost pushed in, so now both of them damn near coming out at the same time, and I'm like, dang, like within that week. So now I got to make sure those come out, and plus the other automatic withdrawals that I come out, it's almost like they're trying to join together, like high-fiving in my account. Like, you over here too? Oh man, it's a party. But that's the whole point. You got to stay focused. If you're not checking your money, checking your account, That's how you lose money. I found out my son used my credit card to order some stuff because it was linked to one of my accounts that I signed on to his phone for. Just be checking his phone, and I bought something under one of his accounts. It ended up linking to another account, which it amazes me. And he ended up buying something. I had to get on him about it. What's going on, Wellness Frugal Mama? And it was like just literally crazy how everything got linked together. And I was telling my wife, I was like, man, it's just crazy how all this stuff is. Even like one of my PayPals, they couldn't get it from my credit card because it was coming up as a fraud. And they sent me a link. I declined it. Then they turned around and went in my PayPal and got it. I was like, I don't know if it was my son or them, but whomever. I think it was my son, because everything's like linked to your number now. So he ended up going in there trying to go through my PayPal, and it actually went through. So now it did a turn from my credit card. It just went to my debit account. So now I got two charges. Everything. One of them I disputed, got that one out, but the other one went through. Didn't know anything about that one. I told my son, man, I took his phone. Like, get up. You have no phone privileges now. I'm like, these kids with these phones are wild. These kids with these phones are wild nowadays. You know, how can I obtain my money, be rich, live life healthy, when the kids are trying to take the money, the bills are taking the money, you know, the spouse is taking the money, you know, for people that has a husband, you know, I'm saying my wife, but everybody, you know, is in your pocket. You know, shout out to Gold Professor with those 9 laws of self-government. You know, you got to have discipline about all that. So you won't get that overdraft, so you can start saving for stuff. Like I said, man, my whole thing was I wanted to go to Costa Rica this year. I didn't go last year because I found out I'm going through the rainy season in October. So I was either trying to go towards December, maybe it's not that cold, or going in July or September or something. You know, right before the rainy season peak in. So I got this Jamaican trip I got to go on now. So man, it's gonna be a hard push for me to do 2 major trips. I'm like, the kids not going with us to over there, because you know that's our birthday. Me and my wife, our birthday are 5 days apart. So we always celebrate our birthday by going somewhere together and just relaxing for a whole week. No kids, just us. You know, we got family that'll come in. My aunt, she moved back up to Georgia, and man, she a big help. You know, when you got family that you know, step in the gap and do things for you, man, it is a big help. Like my aunt coming and take care of my boys while I'm gone, it's a big help. You know, so I appreciate her. I do a lot for her as well. So you know, she returned the favor, and I always appreciate it. You know, and when it comes down to it, a lot of times, a lot of people don't really know how hard it is when you don't have that family support. You know, you can't live a rich life if y'all not joined together. One of my good friends, and the crazy part, I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here. One of my good friends, me and him, we